Good morning, everybody.
What's your name? What's your name?
My name is Mack. My title is The Ravens' Awesome Defense by me again. When the Ravens come on, I prepare by putting my Red Lord jersey on. When the game is over, I'll go to sleep the next. Oh, it's too late.
No, I'm gonna hold it for you.
The next day, and when I see my dad and my brother, and I always talk about Ravens highlights, defensive highlights. The Ravens defense is one of the best in the league. They had one of the most powerful defenses for the past couple of years. I remember the Ravens made an epic comeback against the Cleveland Browns. That's how you know you can rely on the Ravens. One of the Ravens defense, their defense are playmakers against difficult teams. For instance, last year, they increased their sack rate to 11.1% from week 6 to week 9. Good for third best in the league. Red Lewis was the heart and soul of the Ravens defense for the last 14 years. Lewis has personified that sacrifice and spirit. The numbers are staggering: 2,314 tackles, 35.5 sacks, 28 interceptions, 14 forced fumbles, and 14 fumbles recovered over his 191 game career. I feel like Ray Lewis was an outstanding player, not only on the field. He was the team hype man. The Baltimore Ravens was his only team. He came in clutch at moments when the Ravens needed him. He was there for them. They developed hybrid defense around Ray Lewis. The Ravens' hybrid defense was derived from the 3-4 defense. The 3-4 refers to front 7 defenders, 3 defensive linemen, and 4 linebackers. Among the 3 defenders, the lineman and the center is called a nose tackle. The Ravens' hybrid defense. The hybrid defense helps the Ravens a lot when they are going against fast receivers because they are fast. The Ravens players can keep up with their speed. You don't have to do everything and let the other team score. If they don't use hybrid defense against teams that have fast receivers, they will use their speed to fly right by the Ravens defenders. The Ravens used the hybrid defense to win their first Super Bowl in 2000. Ray Lewis played middle linebacker. This is the same position Patrick Queen plays now. Queen has had his best season in 2022. Patrick Queen is basically a tool for the Ravens when something is wrong with their defense. He helps when he's not injured, and he plays a big role on the Ravens. This topic is meaningful to me because the Baltimore Ravens, is my favorite team and will always be my favorite team. Also, I love how they play, especially in defense. I hope one day to go to a Baltimore Ravens game to see them play in person, not just on the TV.
Next up, Dorian.
Ooh.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
You can just hand hold it.
Well, they're trying to turn the pages at the same time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Dorian Wallace, and my article is about how prisoners are treated based on country. I wonder if there are vast differences between the German prison system and the U.S. prison system. When we think of prisoners, we think of the worst possible crime committed. Oftentimes, people are sentenced for something they haven't done. Maybe they plead not guilty for a reduced sentence or not to have their life taken from them. I wonder how different countries treat their prisoners. According to what can U.S. corrections learn from the German prison system? German prison systems are rehabilitative centered. According to sentencing and prison practices in Germany and the Netherlands, their systems have a number of different philosophical and practical approaches that can have implications for reform at home. If Germany's prison has an implication for reform at home, and that tells us they have faith in the ability for prisoners to do good and be productive members of society. German officers are not allowed to carry handcuffs or pepper spray. Handcuffs and spray are available in the officer's station if needed. Inmates are allowed to wear civilian clothing if they have them or a family can provide them. The majority of inmates I observed were wearing civilian clothing. According to the same website, the German prison system is rehabilitative centered. Human dignity is very important to Germans. In Germany, correctional officers and prison management are required to help the inmates better themselves. The corrections officers and prison management are there as support to try and better the inmates, hoping to make a change within them. I was surprised at the privilege given to inmates, but very impressed that escape in Germany is nearly impossible. For religious purposes, there are 3 clergy who serve at the prison in Germany. For other services, there are 15 employees known as Masters of Crafts, who are assigned to specialized skills such as metalworking, building, and painting. This is a huge difference from the United States prison system. According to the same website, the American prison system is looked upon by many countries as punitive. According to examining prisons today, daily degradations grind away at men's souls. The department has reduced visits from family members, limited their ability to send food, and there are now only 2 meals a day on weekends. One man sent pictures of the meal plates that prison officials put over the windows, meaning too light and fresh air gets into the sweltering and filthy prison. The men say it is sometimes moldy, and for those on lockdown, it is served erratically and cold. If the American prison system is looked at by other countries as punitive, there has to be a change and a better way to treat inmates. The American prison system fails to provide evidence against most jail inmates. Yes, some of them have committed crimes, but don't treat humans like animals. If the American prison system is looked at by other countries as punitive, there has to be a change and a better way to treat inmates. The American prison system fails to provide evidence against most jail inmates. Yes, some of them have committed a crime, but don't treat humans like animals. For example, taking away their right to vote, but still having a record when they're released. In most cases, they can't get a job. Does the U.S. justice system really think that if you treat an inmate horribly, that will make them change their ways? Definitely not. Also, how do they think they'll adapt to the changes society has made? How do they think an individual who has been put away for 10 plus years will react, having been confined for a long period of time?
Yeah.